SwimSwam.com coming at you after the final session on day number 5. I'm Garrett McCaffrey. This is Braden Keith, and we are welcoming 5-time Olympic gold medalist and current world record holder Aaron Pearsall. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us for this recap.
Good to talk to you, Garrett.
All right, let's get to the races here. We got the 200 breaststroke for the gentlemen as the first event of the evening. And Aaron, I got to be honest, this was a huge surprise all week, and we've been kind of pitting Eric and Brendan within these two spots, and now after the race is done, neither of them qualified for that 200 breaststroke. Scott Welts with a monster back half in that 200 breaststroke took the win, and Clark Burkle touching second.
That was amazing because Eric and Brendan are both 200 breast is their best events anyway, and they won 200. And Scott Welts, though, I mean, that was for me to watch that. That was incredible. That to me is what trials is about. That guy, he swam just an amazing race, and put a small little team on the map, you know. And Clark, I mean, that was huge. I know for him, I think he went in cautiously optimistic, and I'm happy for Clark. I'm happy for two guys who, yeah, I mean, they get a shot. They get to go to the games, man.
I didn't get to ask Brendan this question, but I wanted to, and it's surprising because he answered every question from every media member after this, and I don't understand how he keeps his composure. You know, in a moment like that, when you got to be disappointed, you got to be bummed. Yeah. A lot of people just walk right by all the media. What is it about Brendan, and what makes him such a class act that he's going to still answer every question? He's going to have some, you know, dignity. He's just such a great sportsman to be able to go through and do that.
Yeah, Brendan has a lot of grace, and he's dealt with, you know, I mean, as a swimmer in general, he's dealt with those upsets before, and has always handled himself very well. He's a good guy. Yeah. His parents done well, but he gets it. He knows this is also the crux of the sport. Like, he knows this is the point.
Yeah.
This can happen.
Yeah.
And that's accepting that. That's actually the most important thing.
Yeah. The next event of the evening was the women's semifinal in the 100 freestyle. And Amanda Weir is a name that we haven't mentioned yet in any of these recaps. She comes out and takes the top seed out of the semifinals with a 54.14. That's surprising. And then the other piece I was going to ask Braden, if you think you were at all surprised that nobody went under 54 seconds.
I wasn't all that surprised about that nobody was under 54. It was still a pretty quick final. Amanda Weir is swimming very well. She's back at Swim Atlanta again. Missy Franklin showed some good speed. I think Missy might swim that 50 at the end of the week. She was kind of on the fence about it, but she's shown a lot of speed this week.
She had forgot about that 50, actually. She came down for a couple questions after she was up with NBC on the broadcast and everything, and she thought after the 200 backstroke tomorrow she was going to be done. That was her last event, and one of the reporters actually asked, what about the 50, and she had completely forgot. So it'll be interesting to see if she actually goes through and swims that 50 freestyle on the last day. Allison Schmidt, Jessica Hardy, Dana Vollmer, Madison Kennedy, Natalie Coughlin finishing 7th. I mean, as a veteran, what do you think is going through Natalie's head when she finishes 7th and makes it through the semis and goes on to the finals? More joy or just relief in that moment?
Yeah, a little bit of both, and in a good sense, because I mean, she'll be there in finals tomorrow night. Yeah. And she's one of those people who can just, you know, right up to the next race, she's completely blocked out. Because, you know, anything else that might have happened during the meet, she can reset. That was an awesome race to watch. I'm stoked for Jessica Hardy. Mm-hmm. I mean, after, you know, I mean, for the 50 and the 100, you know, for the 50 as well. And Madison Kennedy too did that from lane 8. Yeah. That was a pretty stellar little swim. I was stoked to watch that. That'll be
it's a really
awesome
good top 8.
Great top 8. It's going to be a great final tomorrow night. Moving on to the other semifinal, the one that came right after that was the men's 200 backstroke. And Ryan Lochte and Tyler Clary look pretty good tonight, huh, Aaron?
They do. I love Ryan and Tyler. I mean, these two, I mean, for the past 2 years now have been really hard to beat. Mm-hmm. But I'm a big fan of Ryan Murphy.
Mm-hmm. There's actually 3 of the young up-and-coming backstrokers in this final.
Yep. I'm a big fan of Jack Conger, and these guys, so good to see. So good to see like this kind of like fervent youth and in finals of the Olympic trials, 16, 17, 18 years old. That hasn't happened in some time, and you know, Ryan and Tyler, like, they're a crux of the national team. Mm-hmm. It's so good. But when you see, especially on the guys' side, the guys so young coming up in a world where so many guys are staying around for so much longer in the sport, that says a lot for the next 10 years of our contingent. I just, for me, I watch that and I'm like, that's good. I'm proud of where those guys are coming from.
The future of your event looks bright.
I totally believe that. And the thing is Ryan and Tyler both know that. They're just kind of like, holy crap.
Do you think Ryan Murphy is going to get your record tomorrow? That 15-16 record?
Does he not already have it?
No, he's a couple tenths away in the 200.
Oh, then yeah, he'll crush it. He destroyed my 100-bag record. No, that thing, with Ryan swimming, it doesn't exist. And the way Jacob's swimming, he's had an amazing year. And Conger had an amazing 100-bag as well. These guys, if anything, have great experience. I know that their big thing, they're looking forward to next year. Mm-hmm. Over the next few years, these guys, they're not afraid to be here. You just look at that. Yeah. These guys will be tough.
Yeah. The next final we had on the evening was the 200 butterfly, and we had a Longhorn and an Aggie making the team there in that 200 butterfly.
We got a Longhorn and an Aggie right here.
Yeah, that's true. Longhorn and an Aggie, and that was the way that they finished.
And we have to have someone sitting in between us.
The other Big 12 school, Mizzou, I guess SEC now, but anyway, Camille Adams taking the win. She was out 7th at the 50. And then she was able to go 32, 32, 32 like clockwork and just reel in and then leave behind the rest of the field. How impressive was Camille Adams?
Yeah, she blasted through that last 50. This is something we've seen her do in the past at NCAAs. It's usually Katinka Hazu way out in front, but then Adams kind of goes with her on that last 50, and she did that again here. I don't know if it's the side breathing, maybe she saves a little bit more energy, but that last 50 was just amazing, a new meet record.
Yeah, and Kathleen Hersey had a very solid race. Is she the first girl, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, I know we don't know the official answer to this, but I'm pretty sure she's the first girl that Eddie's ever put on the Olympic team, right?
Unofficially, yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's she like to train with?
She frustrates a lot of the guys. A lot of the guys are literally heaving in the gutter trying not to get beat by her on 300s, and that's, in that regard, it's great for the guys team. She just doesn't slow down. And I think it's helped her a lot too. It's given her something to kind of go out for, but I can't tell you how happy we all are for Kathleen. What an amazing thing to happen to her tonight.
She's had a tough year too.
I had a year that it says a lot about her constitution to be able to stand up tonight and just, man, she did it with a smile on her face. She's amazing.
And it's not easy to keep your composure because Camille Adams was like a freight train on that last 50 passing her by. And to be able to keep your composure, stay within your race, and finish out and still get your hand on the wall second, that's not an easy thing to do.
That was special.
Especially at the end of a 200 butterfly. The next final was the gentlemen's 100 freestyle. Not a huge surprise to see Nathan Adrian on the top of the list after all the dust was settled with a 48.10, but I got to be honest, I was pretty darn surprised to see Cullen Jones getting that second position there. He's going to be swimming the 100 freestyle in London, and we haven't seen a great 100 freestyle from Cullen until, I guess, prelims yesterday since 2008.
Yeah, it's great to see Cullen make the team in an individual event. He dedicates a lot of his time to charity work. He's obviously found the time in all his travels to train, make that second spot. But when we look at this as a relay, this really hurts for the Americans. I can't see, unless they get a lot faster in London, I can't see them any higher than bronze.
Yeah. Jimmy Fegan entered the final in lane number 5, ended up finishing 5th, so he should make it on that relay, if all goes accordingly. You think he's happy with that finish?
Jimmy, yes, because he's going to London. What an amazing experience for him. I do think the top 6, though, you look at the experience of those 6 guys, they are all amazing relay swimmers.
That's a good one.
It's one thing to be able to do this on your own, but then I was up there, and I think a lot of people we're looking at someone like Lizak, and we're just like, just get in there, man, because we need you on that relay. A guy like Lizak, or a guy like Grievers, or a guy like Nathan who gets up and does a relay, they don't do what they usually do in the individuals. They end up dropping, 0.3 of a sec, or no, like 3/4 of a second on a leg. And there's something that's what's unique about our relays is, I don't know, our guys kind of swim outside of themselves in that regard.
I think it's going to be interesting to see these guys turn around and do the 50 tomorrow. They've waited all week. They didn't even start. A lot of them didn't even swim until yesterday in the prelims, so there's not a lot of them, but a couple of them. And then they have to turn right around and do the 50 tomorrow, especially for a guy like Jason, who, I mean, when you're 36, you don't recover quite as quick as you used to. He's been through 3 100s. It'll be interesting to see if that affects their 50s tomorrow.
He's a 100 guy. Jason's a 100 guy. That's his big thing. But for Coughlin, that's huge for his 50.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was in lane 1. So yeah, I was freaking out. Josh Davis and Crocker and I were sitting up in the stands, and we were just like banging our heads against the wall trying to figure out what just happened. So it was big. It was a fun race.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Olympic trials without some surprises, and that was definitely one of them.
That was good.
The semifinal for the women's 200 breaststroke was the next event, and Rebecca Soni is teasing us. I mean, she's setting herself up in position to possibly get that world record tomorrow in the 200 breaststroke. It's one that she's kind of been knocking at for the last 2 summers, and just, you know, she comes so close. Even in season, she comes close. Any chance, Braden, you think that that world record's going down tomorrow?
I don't. She's another one of these girls that doesn't always show up as big in finals. I think she's waiting for London. She might get it in London. I don't think she's going to get it here. She's still got a little bit of a way to go. There's nobody really pushing her.
Yeah. Really tight heat of ladies there, probably vying for that second position. And amongst them, right in the mix, a lot of them are 224s, 225s, and Amanda Beard sits 5th at 225. And as a wily veteran, yeah. I mean, you gotta look at her with her experience and just the way that she's already stepped through the first 2 rounds. I mean,
but that's her usually going into finals anyway. When she gets going, it's usually in the finals. Like, she is a final swimmer. She brings a certain kind of intensity to finals that really, there's a reason she's been to 4 Olympics, and she's won a gold medal, and she's actually come through these different phases in her life. She's tough, man. She'll be really good tomorrow night. I mean, she'll be toughest girl in that field.
Yeah. It's funny, we're talking about a lot of the youth in the future, and that looks bright, but we still got the veterans hanging around with Lezak making it and Amanda Beard in position to do the same.
Yeah, good to see.
Yeah. The last event of the evening was the semifinal in the 200 IM. It was the Phelps and Lochte show in the first semifinal. They were 155, 156, and Lochte kind of took off on that third 50, and it looked like on the last 50, Phelps just kind of let him go.
I think it's a good thing to see Ryan come off of that double and still have the energy at the end to take off like that. So we know there's not a whole lot of concern from those guys about making the team, but looking forward to London where he's going to have to do the double again. It's good to still see him holding that energy. They both shut it down right there at the flags, and it was a good swim, a positive swim for both guys, I think.
Yeah, we dissected the Lochte-Phelps rivalry all week long, but in a semifinal swim like that, is there any mental game taking place? Is there anything that they're trying to set a message, or either subliminal or blatant to the other one?
Possibly, sure. I mean, something along the lines of, just trying to jockeying a little bit. Just that competitive aspect of it has to come into play at some point. There's something about coming off of a race, as long as you're physically able to do it. If you come off of a race, regardless, 200 back's a hard race to come off of. Yeah. But Ryan's obviously fit enough to do it and be fine. That tension that you usually have before a race, the second race of the night is gone. Yeah. Like, you get up to the blocks and you're just, really, it's like your head is clear. It's like you don't have the tension or the nervousness that you would ever get is completely gone. And you're really kind of, you're in a rhythm. And what these guys do when they swim with this many races, when they get into a rhythm, they're hard to beat. Yeah. And if you can physically do it, it's hard for a person who swims on day 2 and 3 and then swims on 6 and 7 to beat Michael and Ryan, who just snowball throughout the entire meet. And swimming is its momentum is huge in this regard. Tomorrow night, it's hard. 200 back's not easy, but Ryan proved he could do doubles now, so it's good.
Great stuff, Aaron. Really appreciate you joining us for the recap. That's gonna do it for night number 5. We've got 5 down, 3 to go. We want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Engine, for sponsoring this recap. That's gonna do it for our Swim Swam post-finals recap. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.